Welcome to South Hunterdon Regional High School, our beautiful South County, which we often refer to as South Hunterdon County, and West Amwell Township, our rural and agricultural West Amwell Township. I'm Bill Mayer, and without further ado, I give you our Congressman, Russell.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming. Is the sound system good enough you can hear back there? And feel free to move farther forward if you like. We're not taking a collection. And if it helps you hear, or helps me or the others hear you, we'd be happy to move forward. Some of you have heard me say often that these town meetings, which I hold frequently across the 12th district with the 44 towns in the 12th district, are an opportunity to announce that we don't have to have meetings. There are plenty of ways you can be in touch with me. And I not only invite you to be in touch with me, I need it. In order for me to do my job, I have to hear from you. Whether it's to speak on your behalf, I try to give voice to what's on people's minds. I speak to thousands of people every day, one way or another, either through the press or in person or on the floor of the House of Representatives. And I like to let the state know, let the country know what's working here in New Jersey, what's important to the people of New Jersey. I also need to know what's not working. And in order to vote on your behalf, I also need to hear from you. And perhaps most of all, and reflecting how my staff and I spend most of our time, I need to hear from you about the individual questions and problems that you have. So today, I invite you to raise questions or make comments about anything that is on your mind. I would suggest that for personal questions, whether your disability payments are on time or whether you have an issue with the VA or something of that sort of a personal nature, I would invite you to talk with Leslie Potter, who is right there in the back of the room, or Zanab, or Alex, who are here. I invite you to talk with him, get a privacy form, fill that out. That privacy form allows me to make inquiries on your behalf to government agencies. But if your question has more general interest, by all means, bring it up. I thought I'd like to talk a little bit about what's been going on in Washington, talk about some of what I've been doing. And I expect there will be a fair amount of interest in the healthcare legislation that's up, so I'll talk about that some. But I do want to make the point that there are a variety of things I know, because I get thousands of letters, thousands of phone calls, I talk to people all the time. There are a variety of things. In fact, this morning when I was answering the mail, answering letters, which I do by the, I guess, hundreds every day. There were letters not just on healthcare, not just on the economy, although those are of paramount interest right now. People expressed concern about gifted students, about withdrawing money from their 401ks, about Davis-Bacon prevailing wages, about dogfighting and regulations against that, about Israeli settlements in Palestinian territory, about stem cell research, about neutrons from cold fusion. That was a little out of the ordinary. About genocide in the Darfur region of Sudan, and others. And cap and trade energy. So I say that to make the point that this is a very diverse country. It is a country that is remarkable in its governance. We have a constitution that is the pattern for many constitutions around the world. Few work as well as ours does. When you look around the country right now, with the partisanship and even rancor on a number of issues, it is a wonder how well our country does work. But the greatest problem is not the energetic disagreement, but the cynicism about whether we can govern ourselves. And that is, I'm sorry to say, appears to me to be growing. This remarkable governing system, you know, when I meet with students, I often ask them what they think is the greatest invention of humans. And they, knowing I'm a scientist, will often come up with a technological answer. And I counter that the greatest invention of humans is our constitutional system of government. You know, with 300 million people with very different ideas of what's important. I just ticked off a dozen just now. But there are essentially 300 million different ideas of how we should be spending our time and our money. It's the prescription not just for dissension or vigorous debate. That could be bloodshed. And we have a truly remarkable system for balancing those competing interests. It works remarkably well. There's fault to be found with some things we've done in Washington. There's fault to be found with what happens in the towns and communities across the country. But the system works remarkably well at balancing very different competing interests. It is why we are so proud of our country's successes. And our country's successes far outnumber and far outweigh our shortcomings.